Welcome back to my channel, where we talk about all things related to anxiety and our mental well-being. So today I want to talk about relationship anxiety specifically. When we're in a relationship, along with all the love and excitement, there is another emotion that can sometimes show up unexpectedly, and that emotion is anxiety. When we're feeling anxious, specifically about our relationship, this is known as a relationship anxiety disorder. So, what exactly is relationship anxiety disorder? So, it is when you are worrying or feeling uneasy or nervous, specifically within aspects of your romantic relationship, your partnership. If you were at the start of a new relationship, you might be questioning things like, is this my real soulmate? Is this the right person for me? Will this relationship last? Questions like that might start to show up. And if you're already in a long-term relationship, you may be questioning if the relationship has perhaps run its time, or if you still have the love that you once had for each other. So relationship anxiety is a constant feeling of being unsettled in your relationship. It's where trust in your partner's actions and motives is often in doubt, and communication can start to break down. Trust issues can result in a constant need for reassurance or even a tendency to withdraw emotionally altogether. And if the underlying fear is of abandonment and being left alone, this can manifest in various different ways, such as neediness, clinginess, possessiveness, and withdrawal as a kind of defense mechanism to protect yourself. The fear can add additional strain to relationships, and it can even create a self-fulfilling prophecy where it pushes the other person away. So, before we try and understand exactly what causes relationship anxiety, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button so you're notified of new content every time I post a video. So, let's look at what causes relationship anxiety. Relationship anxiety can result from a variety of different ways, including past relationship experiences, personal insecurities, or unresolved emotional issues. Understanding the underlying cause is crucial for individuals looking to address and manage this type of anxiety effectively. It is important to note that relationship anxiety is a common challenge that many individuals face at difficult stages of their romantic lives. And seeking support from an anxiety specialist can provide valuable insights and tools to navigate through these challenges and promote a healthier, more resilient relationship. So, if you're wondering, have I got relationship anxiety? Let's have a little look about some of the characteristics and behaviours that you might find yourself doing. So you might be constantly checking in on your partner. You might be questioning if they really love you. Constantly trying to please them. You might even find yourself picking fights to test them, to test that they can prove they love you. You might be constantly seeking reassurance for them and overthinking every conversation. These are all common signs. So for some people, their concerns about their partner may be an extension of general anxiety about life. With 1 in 4 people struggling with an anxiety disorder, it's not uncommon, and many couples do face this. Relationship anxiety is the never-ending feeling, though, of questioning your relationship and feeling uneasy, specifically with your partner. You're not trusting your own feelings and you're questioning your own behaviour as well as their feelings and their behaviour. And despite their best efforts to convince you that they love you and they're there for you and supporting you, you're not quite feeling it. And this can lead to your own behaviour changing, such as checking in on them, testing them, that sort of thing. You can also end up self-sabotaging the relationship yourself by picking fights and making it quite difficult for your partner, actually pushing them away. And this cycle can seem relentless. So, can relationship anxiety go away? That's a tough one. It's probably not what you want to hear, but it very much depends from person to person. If over time the trust increases between the two of you, then yes, the relationship anxiety can go away too. However, if you've taken some challenges from a previous relationship where you didn't trust them or you were hurt or rejected and taken these into your existing relationship, then without help, it's likely to stick around for longer. The main key here is to identify the actual source of your anxiety and where it began. However, if you have got genuine concerns about your partner and you're not overreacting, you're not checking in on them all the time, this will give you the opportunity to also find out if that relationship really is the right relationship for you. And you can have those conversations from a place of openness and honesty instead of fear. So before we discuss the strategies of how we can overcome relationship anxiety, you might be wondering who I am and how am I qualified to help you. Well, my name's Jennifer Roblin. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people overcome their anxiety, and I'd like to help you too. So let's jump back in. How can you fix relationship anxiety disorder? It involves understanding your own behaviour first. Before you judge anyone else or look at their behaviour, we need to look at your behaviour first. You may need to address this from different angles. So I wanted to give you a few practical tips, practical steps that you can start thinking about. Number one, learn to be more compassionate. It sounds so easy, but sometimes your partner may have had a bad day at the office. It may be nothing to do with you, and they seem withdrawn and quiet. Instead of immediately seeking reassurance and relief from your anxiety or self-doubt, or thinking that you have done something wrong or they don't love you as much as they did before, take some deep breaths and just give them some space. Maybe that's all that they need before they come back to you. Try and break the habit of seeking reassurance constantly and learn to sit with your feelings. It's not always easy, but it is essential. You may be tempted to dissect everything that your partner says. You may be overthinking, and this leads to so much unnecessary stress. Little throwaway comments can become a source of real intense scrutiny, and it just increases your anxiety and your erratic behaviour. So the chances are their behaviour is actually nothing to do with you, but something to do with their day. So just give them time to work through what they need and then come back together where you can have a conversation that's logical and sensible without the need for constant reassurance. Understand your core beliefs and values. You can do this by working with a therapist because you'll have relationships for yourself. Your partner will have their own values and you'll have those for the relationship itself too. So these beliefs and values might be behind your self-sabotaging behaviours. Working with an anxiety specialist to challenge and change these beliefs can lead to positive transformation, both for yourself and your relationship. So I had a recent client session and they had relationship anxiety. And when we looked through their values, it was clear that her top value was safety and security. It was really high for her. However, her partner wanted to be spontaneous and fun. So you can see how that might get in the way of them living together. They're living their lives very differently. And once we know each other's core values, and more importantly our own, we can then start to see things from a different perspective and appreciate why we and our partners behave the way they do. So this can be very reassuring as we can learn to not take their actions so personally. We can understand more about anxiety and read books about healthy relationships. One of the books I really recommend is The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Share what you've learnt with your partner once you've read the book so that you can help to understand each other. So I'll put a link in the description just to go a little bit about it, but we tend to show love and affection in the same way that we like to receive it back. So we may not all have the same way. So in a recent client session, Richard was frustrated because he was not feeling loved. He would shower his wife with kisses and hugs and lovely words, and he was confused because she didn't like this. She felt smothered by all this attention, and he was absolutely baffled, bless him. So when we discussed her love language, she couldn't understand why her partner wasn't appreciating her. She was frustrated because she kept the house clean, cooked him his favourite meals, she turned the heating down before he came home from work so it was nice and cosy, lit some candles. She went to a lot of effort to ensure that everything was clean and tidy. Richard said, but that's just your OCD. Now Angela was confused. She went to all this trouble to make him feel loved, and she felt that he didn't appreciate her. Now, clear from this, Richard's primary love language is physical touch and words of affirmations, whereas Angela's primary love language was acts of service. Once they understood their differences, they could appreciate how both were making a lot of effort, but they were both being misunderstood. Another big issue is communication. Talk openly with your partner without any judgment or blame. If both of you are willing, consider attending therapy together, as this creates a safe space to open up and participate in honest conversation. Even if your partner is not willing to attend therapy with you, you're still able to have a positive impact on your relationship together by challenging some of your own beliefs and behaviours. And who knows, once they see the progress you're making, then it may be that they want to come together with you and attend therapy, both of you together. Communication is at the heart of any healthy relationship. However, when anxiety strikes, it can disrupt the flow of how we go about our lives, and it leads to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and a sense of emotional distance. The fear of rejection and abandonment is big for a lot of people as well, and this may stop you from expressing yourself openly and honestly and lead to people-pleasing behaviours that are just not serving you well. Individuals experiencing relationship anxiety may also find themselves caught up in a cycle of hesitation and overthinking before communicating with their partner. This can result in a lack of spontaneity, preventing the relationship from growing stronger organically. Furthermore, the fear of being vulnerable, it can be a powerful barrier to open, positive communication. So if you are struggling with relationship anxiety, you may hesitate to share your true thoughts and feelings because you'll be fearful that doing so will expose you to perhaps potential rejection or judgment from your partner. One thing you can also do is define your ideal relationship. Have a clear vision of the loving and trusting relationship you actually want so you know what you're working towards. It really helps you to align your actions with your goals. Relationship anxiety may add some doubt, but with understanding, communication, and taking proactive steps, you can turn your relationship into a stable, lasting, joyous connection. Clearly defining personal boundaries can also help because it provides a sense of security. Knowing and respecting each other's boundaries or limits encourages a healthy balance within their relationship and involves an open dialogue about individual needs and expectations. And this creates a framework that promotes mutual understanding and respect between the two of you. Recognise the patterns, break the cycles, and use this as an opportunity for growth within your relationship. So I was just going to talk to you about a client experience that I had recently. A client contacted me wanting to come for relationship therapy, and I said to them, I don't do relationship therapy, I'm an anxiety specialist. However, she'd insisted because I'd worked with her previously and she had overcome her anxiety. So I agreed to meet them. I wanted to see if I could help them. And I already knew, they'd been in a relationship for 9 years. They had a couple of young children. And she'd talked about her husband previously and how much she loved him. But there was a bit of tension in their relationship when this was a couple of years ago. But now she was being worn down by his lack of trust in her. And she was beginning to get really, really frustrated and felt like she was constantly treading on eggshells. Communication wasn't great between them anymore, and she didn't feel as if they could talk to each other without a fight. She told me she was constantly on edge. So when I met up with them both, it was clear that he thought the world of her, but he was self-sabotaging their relationship and putting his own anxieties about his past relationships onto my old client. Let's call her Claire for the purpose of this. And as he did that, he was triggering feelings in her too from her own childhood. So they both agreed that they were not communicating like they used to. They also both agreed that they wanted to try their best to make their relationship work, and they wanted to go back to how it used to be many years before. Now, the problem was Claire had recently started a new job. She was working with the fire service, and her partner was suddenly worried about her being surrounded by younger, stronger, better looking men. Claire kept reassuring him, but it made no difference. He was becoming more and more suspicious, and every morning when she got dressed, he wanted to know why she was choosing the clothes that she was wearing, why was she making a special effort, who was she trying to impress. And every evening he wanted to know who she'd spoken to, he wanted to know details about her day, and it was wearing her down. So this conversation was taking place, and what became apparent that his issues were nothing to do with my client Claire. It was all to do with his past relationships, and his ex-wife had had an affair with a colleague, and then he was taking that pressure into his current relationship, and that was what was making Claire feel so unloved, because he didn't trust her. It's just he didn't trust what had happened to him before. He didn't trust that he could cope with it again. So as soon as it was obvious that it was anxiety that was the underlying cause, we could just work on that and fix that. So I've had many couples refer to me since then, because anxiety is often the cause of the majority of relationship breakdowns. So once we can work on the underlying root cause of the anxiety, we can, work together to build up that relationship and that trust. Now, I'm not saying that every couple that come to me stay together, but they do make a conscious decision of what they want to do next. They're not jumping out of a relationship because of fear. So while you can implement these tools and strategies independently, it's probably more helpful to see an anxiety therapist, because they can provide you with additional level of guidance and assistance and get to the root cause of the problem. And that is really where you need to be, at the root cause, because only by addressing that can you move forward. So we all have a responsibility to look after our own mental well-being, and if it's left unresolved, anxiety can spiral out of control. So it really is something that we need to be working on so that we can overcome it. So if you want to take the next steps and have a life where fear is no longer holding you back, click on the link below or the link over in the description, and you'll be able to book a free, no obligation consultancy call, and we can discuss how I can help you. I can give you a few tips and strategies of what you can do. So if you have found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, because it helps me get the message out to more and more people. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.